And I still will end up like, oh, I'm looking at those cool ashtrays that I got. Oh yeah, black light. Oh, that's an alien vagina.
Are you guys talking about that magic shit?
Welcome back, you guys, to the Hard Part podcast, where the hardest part is keeping up with what's in standard.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's flipping through faster than I can come up with a quip for.
I know.
So
Yes, especially with the new things coming to standard very soon. This week's episode is going to be a little bit different than we normally do. We're still going to have our normal segments, except this time we are doing a deep dive on the new Final Fantasy set coming out very soon.
everything Final Fantasy.
Everything Final Fantasy. So all the way from our keywords to our hot takes to everything is based on Final Fantasy this week.
Welcome to the Magic the Final Fantasy podcast.
Where somehow this isn't the Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no, that was. I think that's the one thing that I've always taken away from Final Fantasy. I think the first one that I noticed title wise was like Final Fantasy V, and I was like, wait a second, this is you. I think it was Empire Records or something. No, not Airheads.
Yeah.
The one where the band is named the Lone Rangers. And
Yeah.
It's like the Lone Rangers. What that by definition, the Lone Ranger is by himself, so you can't have more than
You can't have more than
yeah.
one.
So if it's the Final Fantasy, why are we on the fifth one?
Yep.
In any case, like, how did we get this far? Like, I suppose Final Destination kind of does the same crap. Is it a fun play on words? Or
I think it is, yeah.
Okay. For the simple-minded.
Yeah, it's really funny that Final Fantasy, the very first Final Fantasy game, was just called Final Fantasy. So imagine going into that video game IP and going, Final Fantasy, where's the first ones?
Right? Yeah. No.
Because you need to, like, try to find it. And I remember that was the big confusion for me.
Everything past then, though. Final Fantasy 2. Wait a second. Didn't we do this already? Like,
Yeah, Final Fantasy 2.
did you just not think of another? Although that, I think that was one of the beautiful things that you brought up, nomenclature-wise. The little bit that I've grifted of Final Fantasy extended knowledge so far is the one card that we're going to talk about later. A Realm Remade.
A Realm Reborn.
Oh, Realm Reborn.
Yep.
Renaming the MMO that after doing the plowing and so
Very
forth.
smart.
That's very yeah. Design wise, that is form fitting and everything. That
Yes.
is so pleasing.
Yep. So going into it, we don't have a sponsor yet, right? That's also the hard part is trying to find a sponsor.
Hey, you know what? This episode, I'm gonna throw a shout out to
Sure.
Tim, okay? Because
All
Tim
right.
was rocking it and rolling it and carrying boards, and we're working on getting the studio together, a more proper. And
Yeah,
and
we're
furnished
building an
studio.
actual studio, so we'll be able to decorate it finally
Yeah, just
instead
not
of having
have a
this
mattress in the
color
background.
matched mattress. Yeah, so we're gonna have an actual studio.
Maybe we'll get a sign at the same time. It'll
Yeah.
be like a full.
It'll be like a bam all of a sudden. I'm planning to get us a fake plant as well. Yep.
That'll be pleasant.
Yeah, I'm gonna get us birds of paradise.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah,
we were talking about
I'm gonna get a
that.
birds of paradise.
How difficult? That seems like really like orchid level of like.
They're
keeping
weird.
it nice and.
They're kind of weird. That's why I'm gonna get a fake one.
Oh yes, that's
Because I'm a
perfect
genius. Yeah,
idea.
because I'm not gonna walk over here and feed a tropical plant every 3 hours. But no, yeah. Thank you, Tim, for helping us out on getting the construction project started. Also, thank you to my girlfriend Rye for also helping. She
Dude.
loaded her tiny little car completely
Rye-
filled.
Right,
Dude, that thing's insane.
She did the lion's share of the building. Like she was definitely in there, like carrying the boards too.
Yep.
But like I think every screw that was put into that outside of the 2 anchor screws at the end was all done by Rye. So
Yep.
she's
Yeah, so thank you to you guys for
Yep.
helping us build our studio, for supporting us on our crazy old man adventure.
right.
That's awesome. So yeah, we'll go to segment 1 here. I'll let you kick it off, because you are the noob when it comes to Final Fantasy. So we'll throw you right in the deep end.
Yeah, no. So I did some heavy looking and just jumped right into the love spoiler seasons. I
Love
want to
them.
just say that. Like I hate the state of a lot of things in Magic right now, but I gotta say the kid in me that used to like get super excited about just speculating about
Yep.
what was going to be on a card, to the point now where like you can see the entire set months before
Yeah.
release sometimes.
And I get so excited every time a new card gets spoiled.
yeah,
Like the instant reaction I get, like some of the cards in this Final Fantasy set being released, I am mind blown by.
it's
Like this also proves power creep so much.
I don't even, so I have a theory on that. I really feel like that, at least reviewing the set, because every single card seems to be like its own functional story / win con. I almost feel like they came in and development wise, design wise for the set, they were like, you know what, just stay true to the game. Let's keep this at a power level of like a commander level product. We're gonna do a full set, but it's gonna be more of a like Commander Masters or a Modern Masters type.
Yeah.
So sky's the limit. Don't get Oko crazy, but at the same time, if you want to print a bunch of wild new crazy stuff, let's do it.
Don't get Oko crazy, and then they put a card that says when you deal damage, your opponent loses the game.
Well, and then I think what happened is somewhere along the negotiation lines. I don't know anything. Who owns Final Fantasy? Are
Square
they
Enix.
Square
It's
Enix?
the
So
same
they're
people
their
who do
own-
Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm sure that there was like that preliminary meeting right before everything was to go live. We've already got everything like designed and ready to go, and that's when they come in and they're like, "And you guys are gonna include this in your standard rotation so that it's out there for everybody and they can all use it, right?"
That everybody
And
in
then
the-
someone's yep, exactly how we designed it, and then just like, oh no.
Yeah,
This-
because looking at some of the cards that were... Oh, I forgot to plug in my fucking laptop, I think. Did I forget to plug my laptop in? That's so
know.
awkward.
Technical difficulties. Yeah, we gotta take care of that because if it dies,
No, I didn't. It just, like...
just got light on you.
Yeah. The fuck?
Is it not?
It's in.
Ding ding dong.
I think it did that last time, and it just...
Today on the hard part, is it in yet?
But yeah, this being in standard, there's some things that people have already come up with turn 3 wins in standard because of some of these cards.
I heard
There was a turn 2 that somebody did. I was like, oh,
I have a
gross.
turn 2 that I wanted to talk about, and then there's also a potential for a modern turn 1 with
Nice.
the same card.
Yep.
But
That's cool.
yeah, no, I really I know nothing. I know extremely little about Final Fantasy. Just to the what's his name? The Vivi.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that. I didn't even know for sure that was part of this IP.
Yep, and he's
okay?
he's a black mage.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like 90% sure that he was also in He-Man's Master of the Universe,
It's
but
the
maybe
same art style
yeah, I
from
think
that
I'm
era.
just like blending two things, but
He's a great card too.
so I'm not gonna go too far into him because your boy Ben has just made sweet review love to this card because it was
Yes, he
basically
has.
made for his commander deck.
Yep, he has.
Um,
Yeah. You know what? I'll give him a shout out just because I look at your content all the time, and
Yeah.
I eventually want you to know this. Yeah, Ben Bateman. He's on TikTok. He's on Instagram. Everything like that.
Everywhere where media is consumed.
Yes, he did. He did a pretty deep dive on Vivo, and how it fits in, and he's just so good. What a
Insane.
great card, honestly.
Also, flavor wise, I'm sure again it's Final Fantasy, so they mix and match. It seems wherever they feel like. But he's a black mage.
Yes, he's a black mage.
He's a blue, red, black mage.
Yes, I think he's a black mage. He might be a blue mage because blue mages do exist as well. So there's
Okay.
white, black, blue, red.
Is he a Jawa?
No, he's not a Jawa.
Look at that. He looks like a Jawa.
These came out. Hold on.
These did not come out before Star Wars.
I think it.
Final Fantasy came out before Star
I
Wars.
think. Oh no, 87. Yeah, so it came out 10 years after.
Okay, yeah.
However, it's not a Jawa. Yes, they have the round eyes like it, but
Final Fantasy is 87, huh?
yeah,
That's
1987.
woof.
Yeah, it's like a year after you were born.
Yeah, it wasn't a year after I was born.
No, Final Fantasy, they've I do have to give it to Wizards of the Coast and Final Fantasy because a lot of the times we get scared when they do these individual IPs that they're going to mess things up. They're not going to do it well lore-wise and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even Lord of the Rings had a lot of issues with that. Like, there wasn't a lot of good flavor stuff. They almost seemed like we're just going to throw these cards in here and they're just going to look cool and be expensive.
Yeah, and
But-
there's always the One Ring debacle
Yeah.
where they very easily could have just
Mhm.
made that a serialized Soul Ring.
Yep.
But
Yeah. But this set, they have done their research. Everything from
this
the
is-
Final Fantasy lore all the way to the magic combination.
honestly,
They've
I could
killed it.
I could be wrong, but this doesn't even feel like they've done their research. This feels like these are people who have breathed this IP for the last,
Yeah.
30 years.
Well, Square
And-
Enix knows, they know what they're doing to a point on some things. But when it comes to Final Fantasy, though,
Right.
100%. Like, that is their baby.
Yeah.
And they've, nurtured it since the 80s. So it's one of those things where they know what they're doing. And there's some people who have been on the development team of Final Fantasy since the beginning, too.
Yeah.
So it's not like, wow.
See, and WoW
that's-
doesn't even have that.
No,
like,
they've
that's,
turned it over. Like, the
ugh.
same people who have worked on Final Fantasy from the beginning are still there
So
because
sad.
they love their IP.
Yeah.
Like, they live, breathe,
Then
and
they love
sleep
their
it.
company,
Mhm.
or like they're taken care of obviously by
Yeah.
their company.
Yep.
It's good business to take care of your companies, take care of your employees.
It is. Yeah.
If you take care of your employees, they will take care of your customer,
Yep.
and then the whole fucking problem is fixed.
Yep.
But
Yeah. Vivo, great.
Vivo is insane.
Great.
Yeah, no, like that again. That's Brewer, man. I saw zero activated ability, and that was the first thing. I think after you had shown it to me, I was immediately looking for like, is that an activate only once each turn? Because they know better than that. That's not overpowered. That's just like
Yep.
find out how to wait until later to find out how to break me. That's
But the fact that the ability Tom's talking about is the zero cost. You add X mana of any combination of blue and/or red, where X is Vivo's power,
which starts out at 0.
which starts out as 0.
So
you do need to find ways to bump them up.
Oh, wait a second. What's that below here on the same card? A way to fix that problem.
Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent.
They could have
Um,
just put prowess on it and it would have been fine.
Yep. The mana ability is activate once per turn, which is how it's not breakable, right?
Well,
Unless you find ways to bounce. No, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
it's once per turn. It doesn't even matter, even if
No.
you flick it.
no, if you flick it, it is a new instance card. It
Rip.
has it's just like
Rip.
a planeswalker.
Yep.
Yep.
But
Yep, there's actually a couple of combos that include bouncing it basically to maintain. And
Yeah. that's also I found out about loot. Remember how at first we thought loot was really bad in Aether Drift?
Right.
He's not as bad as we thought
Oh,
because
'cause you can
you
flicker
can
him.
flicker it and it doesn't.
I just think loot is bad
They
by
need-
definition.
yeah, they need to
like,
fix
there's
him.
nothing wrong so much with the abilities that they print on him so much as it was like if we found out one day that he was like had gremlin rules and was some type of critter and he just like starts like sliver wise like multiplying and like eating shit across the universe or the multiverse, that would be hilarious. He would gain a lot of like points from me on that end. But right now, yeah, whatever his Yoda like race is of Disneyfication.
Yeah.
I don't mind Fortniteification. Bring them all in. Let's have Emperor Palpatine fighting Pinkie Pie with a fucking with a unicorn stick. That sounds hilarious to me and kind of poetic. Really, I just
None
threw
of
that
made
together.
fucking sense.
It didn't, but it's something that you could do in Magic now. Because I think even the stick isn't. Well, I suppose you can't do the Emperor, but
Yeah.
he's in there.
Yeah. VV is also only costs 3. That's kind of a big trend I've noticed is a lot of these commanders are very low cost, and they're all the prime example of power creep.
I have 2 of them that are just.
Let me guess. All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess one of them. The next one you're gonna talk about is Lightning. Are you gonna talk about Lightning?
Because
she's insane.
So I am gonna talk about Lightning. Lightning is not one of my 2 cost ones.
No, Lightning's really good.
Lightning's a 3 cost.
She is a 3 cost. Yep.
Yep, Army of 1.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I was actually thinking about that's honestly, one of the deck ideas that I was thinking of is just, you go for your standard not Rakdos. Why am I blanking on Ravnica stuff right now? That's so harsh. Boros.
Boros.
It's because I never played Boros.
I mean,
It
same here.
sucks. Well, it doesn't suck. It's stupid.
Boros Charm is great.
Yeah. Lightning Helix, so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Boros is not bad. Just not my flavor. But you could literally throw her 4 ofs in every single Boros deck, and it instantly gets 10 times better.
Yeah, Lightning is 1 red and 1 white. She is a 3/2 human soldier with first strike, trample, and lifelink.
Yep.
Then she has stagger, which is whenever she deals combat damage to a player until your next turn, if a source of damage would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it deals double the damage instead.
So basically, they were like, how can we actually make first strike an offensive ability?
Yeah.
Because right now it's really pretty defensive. Double strike is offensive because it doubles your damage.
Yep.
First strike is just going to make sure that
you deal the damage first.
You may get out of when it comes down to a combat situation. Like if you're attacking a player with first strike, it does nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's definitely defensive because because when you block something with the first strike, you deal your damage first. So if you have 2 1/1s blocking each other, you kill their 1/1 and yours lives because you deal the damage first.
Now, in her case, since she has first strike, she'll hit, her damage will resolve, and then her ability will trigger. Everybody who doesn't do first strike damage is now doubling their damage.
Yep, and she has lifelink too.
Oh yeah, and just in case.
Just in case,
in case you were struggling at this point in the game.
And she costs 3.
Yeah, that's another one of those 3
So
costs.
the thing is, she's not a samurai, but I think she's going to go on my samurai deck. Specifically because of the stagger thing, right? It's really good.
No, it's not.
I like it. I think stagger's good.
It's the samurai deck is looking to attack with one guy.
Oh, that's
each
true.
turn.
And I do already have somebody else I need to throw in instead.
Yeah, that was to say you have like
Dude,
3
there's
other
like 3
way
in
better.
here that are ridiculous.
One of the ones I was going to talk about would actually fit extremely well in your deck because it's a legendary. Did that just go down again? Yeah. Oh.
It's still going.
Okay.
I think it just dimmed because it's.
It's a legendary
What the fuck?
Stoneforge Mystic. Did it die?
No, it's still alive. It's just like going to sleep. Why are you sleeping? You're literally recording.
It's actively charging.
Yeah. Oh, you know what really sucks?
What?
I never hit start recording.
Oh, we gotta start over.
Nah, you just have to start the video from here.
Oh, okay.
We'll just put. I'll just put on the stream when we put this one out. This had technical difficulties. For video.
As long as the audio is good.
Audio's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I was
It's
going
just
through the controller.
It's just a podcast.
Damn, that sucks.
That's all right.
That's okay. Anyway, so
These are funny. I've seen these before.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, no, tying back in, it's the legendary Stoneforge Mystic, the Cloud Midgar mercenary.
Cloud. Yep.
Human soldier mercenary.
He's the fucking 2 white cost guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, they were always, I don't know offhand what is in standard as far as equipment goes. But there's got to be decent stuff. The one that like makes a 1/1 when it comes into play or whatnot was just out in Tarkir Dragonstorm. It's like a long-handled sword. It's not game breaking or anything.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Again, like,
is that the sword that had
searching-
hexproof as well?
I don't
The
know.
dragon something sword.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If there's an equipment with hexproof, again.
Yeah, it
boom,
has hexproof.
like,
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any equipment from this, at least.
We're gonna get the Buster Sword, Cloud Sword.
Are we?
They've already posted a non-text box picture of the card,
Gotcha.
so we're getting equipments.
So yeah,
and it's probably
going
gonna
to
be their weapons.
But it's,
So
pulling that and throwing that on there, and then he also gets to, as long as he's equipped with an ability of Cloud or an equipment attached to it, it triggers. That ability triggers an additional time.
yeah, he
just
can swing alone.
absolutely insane. Absolutely insane for a 2-drop.
Yep.
Like,
The only downside is, I think the samurais are when a samurai or a warrior attack alone, and he's neither of those keywords.
that's fair. But
Which is why-
honestly, you could throw him in there,
Yeah.
and he's really just there to grab whatever equipment you need at the time.
Yep.
He's an equipment tutor.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, you would have to equip it to him, and then he'll double the triggers from that one thing.
The card that is significantly better for the samurai deck is also actually a samurai.
Actually, a samurai.
It is
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh, Master at Arms. He's a 4-cost and 2 red, so he's a little expensive, but it's fine because he's definitely good for later in the game, right? But he's a 6/6. When he enters or attacks, you look at the top 6 cards, not for like normal or like
Right.
top 2,
Yeah.
like 6.
Yeah.
That is a ton already. The top 6 cards of your library. You may put any number of equipment cards from among them onto the battlefield. So not into your hand. That means if you have these really expensive, there's a couple of equipments that are really expensive, and
Yeah.
the reason they're not in this deck list right now is because you want to get them out faster.
Mhm.
You can
Doesn't
have
matter.
doesn't matter. You can put as expensive as you want. Then you put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order.
Mhm.
When you put one or more equipment onto the battlefield this way, you also attach them to samurai you control, so you don't have to pay for the equipment and you don't have to pay for the equipment cost.
That's so insane. They should make you pick one of them. Like, well, that's a lot of card words.
So
but
that is like I haven't looked at the deck.
is it
list
any
changes.
number?
It's any number. It's any of them.
You
So
just grab like
if
3.
you pull 6 equipments from the top, they all go onto the battlefield.
I mean, ideally, you would want to pull 6, but I think on a regular
Mm-hmm.
with your deck list, you're probably gonna pull. Again, you're still gonna pull at least 3.
I've got 25 in the deck list right now.
25 equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
because
like,
it's specifically
at least 2. Ideally, you're gonna get 3 to 4 there. I feel
Yeah.
like.
so he's really good to get the equipments out and really good initially to equip them. The downside to him, the downside is when the things die, you have to unequip it. Now you have to pay the equipment cost. But right away, that's really, really strong.
Yeah.
Because like I have Blade of the Oni, right? That makes the whoever you put it on
Make
base
it a
power
5/5.
5/5 now.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can be like, oh, this 1/1 samurai I have is now a 5/5 immediately, and I didn't have to pay for the equipment, and I didn't have to pay to accost it.
Yeah.
So it's really strong in the samurai like function. And there's multiple arts of him because we're getting so many different artworks in this. It's unreal. But no, he's gonna be great. They even did the Japanese style of him too,
Yep.
because he's a samurai, so they kept up with the flair.
So speaking of different arts,
Mm-hmm.
did you hear about? So you have given me a little bit of information about Final Fantasy beyond what I had. Did you hear about your boy Sid?
Are we actually gonna get Sydney finally?
Sid Timeless Artificer?
Yeah, the fact that they made every single version of him. Yeah,
There are at least 15 different versions of him.
there are. Yep.
And he has your favorite line of text on a card.
He does.
Uh,
He does. Oh, don't worry. I've already planned on it. Because he's also in my favorite color combination, which is white-blue.
Yeah.
Like, I love white-blue, which is really ironic because in the first episode, I think it was, we talk shit about both of them separately, but together they're great.
This is such a win. Like, I don't know, obviously, again, I don't know anything about the storyline of Sid or his multiples or so forth. I'm assuming he's basically some type of Time Lord.
Sid is, yeah, he's kind of like that, but he's in every single game and every single variation of Final Fantasies because technically every Final Fantasy has a different Sid because even though they're in the same universe, they are not in the same timelines.
Okay.
So, for example, we have Final Fantasy 15 Sid,
Mm-hmm.
but the internet's already mad because it's not the correct one.
Oh.
So there's 2 Sids in Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
There was the old man Sid, and then there was his daughter Sydney.
Oh yeah, you
and
know
his
that they were
daughter
gonna
is the.
definitely
Oh,
do-
she's gonna be her own card because everybody's up in arms about it already.
Oh, is she not one of the?
She's not yet. We haven't. It hasn't been announced yet for her. She's not one
Okay.
of the variants.
Okay, all right. I thought there was a female variant of her, but that might have been what you were
That's
talking
Sydney.
about.
Yeah, because in Japan it's Sydney, and in America it was Sid. So in Final Fantasy 15 they threw Sydney in there.
Gotcha.
Which Final Fantasy 15 is also, I name it Bro Trip
Mhm.
because Final Fantasy 15 you're playing as Noxus and his friends, and you're in a car going on a road trip to save the kingdom.
Very nice. In a car?
In a car.
You know what? Never mind.
Final
Because
Fantasy.
again, I think that I had
In a
played
flying car.
one of the old school like Nintendo level like time based like
Yeah.
combat games, and so I didn't really get into it. I don't think I played that game for more than a couple of hours,
Mhm.
and then decades later I saw Final Fantasy The Spirits Within or Spirits from Within.
Spirits Within, yeah.
And that one was in space with
Kind of, yeah.
ghosts.
Yep. So,
So
Spirits Within, fun fact for any of you like kind of TV movie nerds, I actually took a class in college that was a film history class.
Right.
And Spirits Within is in film history
wow.
because of the fact that it was so realistic with its animation so early on in its life when we were still getting into CGI,
Mhm.
it freaked people out.
Oh yeah, like it hit that like
It hit
uncanny
that,
valley.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it freaked people out, but that's also why it made history because it's so unbelievably beautifully animated and so ahead of its time.
Maybe for the time.
If you
but
think
yeah,
of the
no, I
time
definitely
period.
get the
It's
uncanny
the whole
valley
Toy
feel
Story
to
effect,
it.
right? The original Toy Story when it first came out Toy Story is the first fully animated film ever, CGI,
Okay.
which is why it's weird,
Yeah.
right? So same thing, Uncanny Valley with Spirits
Sorry,
Within.
without that last line, I was gonna be like, yeah, we can talk to Snow White about that one. I bet she have a word to say.
Yeah, she was fully animated, not CGI. Yeah.
But yeah, for CGI, and then
Mhm.
yeah, we got into yeah, no, it was definitely I watched the movie. I think this was back like Family Video. Like I had to go down and like get a physical
Yeah, from like a
copy of
movie
it.
house.
Yeah, and
Not a Blockbuster, not like chains, but a movie house.
Oh no, it's still a Family Video is still a chain. But
Ours wasn't. We had like a actual movie house with like individual owned and operated.
did your movie house have like a back room?
Oh, of course it did.
Okay.
Oh,
Isn't
of
it
course
so
it did.
crazy? Like Blockbuster would have like maybe some of those like pushing like the single X,
Yeah.
you know, like it was still nothing like. But then you'd go to Family Video or like the local video store, and that's definitely where the creeps all went to go get their like
It's the back of Spencer's,
the
basically.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how you feel when you walk into the back of Spencer's is how you felt walking into the back of a movie house.
Somebody brought that up the other day. They were like, I saw someone with their child in the back of Spencer's, and I'm like, sometimes people are just shopping, and then you find yourself in
And
a
you
dildo
just walk
store.
into it, and then
Yeah.
you're just like, you a kid in a candy store, you're like,
I'm aware that it's there, and I still will end up like, oh, I'm looking at those cool ashtrays that I got. Oh yeah, black light. Oh, that's an alien vagina.
Yep.
That is a not just like a novelty alien vagina. Like
No.
that's a fuckable alien vagina.
Yep. You mentioned that Sid has my favorite thing on it. So explain what Sid does. Tell the viewers what Sid.
So
what Sid
just
does.
to make sure that we've got all of the stuff in here, Sid is a 4/4 for 4, 2 in Azorius.
Uncommon.
Legendary creature, human artificer, uncommon, luckily. I think that I really feel like they should common level all of these cards.
I'm
but
really
that's
excited
just-
for these to be $16 a
um,
piece.
Yeah, I don't know how this one's gonna end up faring out, but these are gonna be some money.
Mm-hmm.
And then his card reads, artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artificer you control and each artificer card in your graveyard. And then next is the line that Sean loves so
My
much.
favorite. I love them.
A deck can have any number of cards named Sid, Timeless Traveler.
So the first, when you mention the fact that it says each artificer card in your graveyard,
It's like, oh,
How are you going to
okay.
get those in your graveyard,
Well, you
Tom?
just play them on top of each other and then have to sacrifice one?
No, you just cycle it
You just cycle it away
because
for
it has cycle.
for a white and a blue. So,
So, yep. So,
you know,
unlike other, you can have as many of these in your deck cards. This has value within itself.
I feel like this was a rough choice. It's
This is a hard decision
fine
card.
enough. It was fine enough, and I suppose it does fit really well flavor wise. But I feel like there's definitely colors, like 2-pair color combos that like could use card draw
Yeah.
a lot more than, I don't know, blue and white.
The fact that it's a 4/4 though, for 4,
He's not little. Yeah, no,
That
this is
is-
a chunky boy.
that is a single
and,
cost more than Relentless Rats.
so he's not a hero or an artifact creature, so he doesn't get his bonus.
No, he is an artificer though,
He is an artificer,
so he gets his own.
so he does add to the
He
buff.
adds to his own buff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, hero is important because
Hero's a specific creature type, right?
it is. Yes.
Not like outlaw or
No, it's
okay.
a specific hero. It's a specific hero type. But I don't think they've released. I haven't seen any of them in here yet.
Okay.
I haven't seen any heroes actually listed in the Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Final
I've just
Fantasy set.
seen hero tokens.
Yes. So, oh, duh. Yes, that's what it is. It's because in
Is
Final-
it one of the
Yeah, it's one of the hero tokens. Yeah, because there's a lot of cards in here that create hero tokens.
Okay.
Specifically, for example, the weapons. So, there are weapons they have released. So it's the hero weapons. So when you cast the weapon, you create a 1/1 hero and attach the equipment to it.
Okay.
So that's what it's talking about. Because technically, in Final Fantasy, the online game,
You are the hero.
you are heroes.
Gotcha.
So that's what it is. Because you equip it. It's a class card.
Mhm.
So it's like equip this, they become this class, and now they also have these additional abilities, but they're heroes.
Gotcha.
So that's what it means by hero cards. I was trying to find one of those cards, but now I can't find them, which is ironic. Oh, they're right there. It's because they're within their colors. So Black Mage's Rod is an artifact equipment. It's called Job Select. So when this equipment enters, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token, and then attach it to it.
okay.
Which the equip cost is 3 on this one specifically.
Mhm.
But if you think about it, right, that's black. That's in my color combo for my samurai deck.
That's fair.
This is just equipment that when it comes out, it just creates it.
Mhm.
So you can actually
You can have
The
to make
combo
more
you can-
spots.
the combo you can do with this.
Mm.
Gilgamesh enters. You pull this from the top of your deck. You put it out. Gilgamesh's second thing says you can then equip it to a creature.
Right.
Before that resolves, this would resolve because when it comes into play, well, when it enters, you create a 1/1 hero token, then attach this to it.
Mhm.
So you attach it, and then you unattach it to something else, but you still keep that 1/1 hero.
Oh yeah, yeah. You get a
So
free
you get a
token out
you
of
get a
it.
free token out of it.
Yeah.
So that adds the value. But that's what it means by hero for the artificer is that.
Mm.
So there's going to be one class within each color. So like blue is going to have one. Red, I think they've already announced theirs, I think. I might be wrong. Somebody else already has their class card. And within that... Oh, White Mage. White Mage has it.
Okay.
So it allows them to do that. So you can put that white with the artificer. And now you get a hero. The hero gets a bonus, and you also have the equipment.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be some wild stuff.
All of the different variants of Sid are so cool, though.
they really,
I love the fact that every single Final Fantasy game has a separate Sid.
This is where they should have done that. This is
Mhm.
very solid. Again, flavor win all the way through.
It's like when people have like Relentless Rats decks or stuff like that. The
Yeah.
reason why they keep reprinting Relentless Rats with different art is because you need a ton of them in your deck, so why not have different arts of them? Right?
Yeah, why not have different versions of them? That's so cool. Like
or you can
we-
have the same version over and over again if you like a specific Sid. But
yeah,
I'm going to build this deck because, like I mentioned a couple episodes ago, I'm a fan of you can have any number of them in a deck. I think they're just really funny, and I wanted to create one of each color anyway. And now I could create them in dual colors.
yeah, we got a dual color right here.
Yep. I think this is the first dual color you get a multiple of them.
I believe so, but I would hold out on that
Yeah,
one
I'm gonna
just
hold
'cause
out
there's
on it.
been a lot of
Yeah, there's a ton, but like That's cool. I'm really happy about that.
I also really like the ones where it dictates the like the specific number of them that you can have.
Yes.
Like 7 dwarves, the Nazgul.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, that's really cool. I do like Sid's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be really fun. I'm excited to see what people do with it, especially in standard too.
so what I was kind of thinking is you do your standard, like artifact, like rocks and so forth. You run him as a 4 of, not a 4 of, sorry, as an 8 of. So you've got him in there, and I'm assuming some of those, again, the blue and the white artifacts that create the hero tokens or whatnot will be playable.
Especially
at
if you're
least.
playing white in standard, a lot of the time it's gonna be tokens, right? Human tokens and stuff.
And
usually.
then once you round out that, I say, again, with all those rocks that you have in there, you get the absolute virtue.
Oh God!
Okay.
Don't people are so
And that's your game ender right there.
people are
I mean,
so pissed.
Commander,
about that
this is rough.
Mm-hmm.
1v1 standard. If you can resolve 1 or 2 of these,
win.
like,
So absolute virtue is the new.
sorry, not 2. It's a legendary,
Yeah.
but
Absolute virtue is the new thing that it officially pissed people off more than Grand Arbiter.
yeah,
It has pissed people off more. Yes, it is very expensive. It is 6, 1 white, and 1 blue. It's got. Let me see if I can memorize this already. I've been reading them enough. It's
Mhm.
got flying.
Yep.
I don't remember its second thing, but its last thing is you have protection from opponents.
From each of your
From
opponents.
each of your opponents.
And that little one that you forgot
yeah, it's
about?
the little one that I
The
forgot
little
about.
one you forgot about is that it can't be countered.
Oh, yes, there we go.
So you can't. There, it removes. Yeah, it's not
He's a
indestructible,
6/6?
but he's an 8/8.
Fuck.
He's an 8/8 for
An
8.
8/8 for 8.
He's 6 and a white and a blue.
But because he's white and blue, there's ways you
Avatar
can cheat. You
warrior.
can cheat him out.
You can cheat.
You can cheat him
Not
out.
only that, but he's in the really like the most protective colors.
Yeah.
I would say green probably has maybe a couple more like target creature gains
Yeah.
hexproof or
If you
whatnot.
play him,
But you can flicker him.
if you,
you
play
can-
him with Grand Arbiter, he costs 2 less.
He does, doesn't
He
he?
costs 2 less because it's 1 less for white and for
Yup.
blue. So he's not an 8/8 for 8. He's an 8/8 for 6.
Yeah, and you're charging more for everything with Grand Arbiter too.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and
he can't be countered.
I,
And
s-
so,
I
like,
still see this as being a standard bomb.
Yep.
Again, like this is what's his name? Nemesis the merfolk. True name Nemesis.
Yep.
I believe for a little bit that was in standard.
Yes.
If not, I know that it was definitely a fair problem
Mm-hmm.
in modern for a little bit. This is the same thing basically.
People are predicting certain cards that are going to get banned in standard and stuff, and this is one of them.
Oh, really?
Yep. That and same Vivo too. People are expecting Vivo to be banned.
Oh, really?
In standard.
He's gonna get a lot of protection from the community.
Yep.
Um.
Because he's a fan favorite. Vivo is
Yeah.
a fan favorite.
Yep.
Like, there's so many cosplayers that do Final Fantasy cosplays who do black mages and red mages and white mages and do it in the style of Vivo.
I still think their jaw was.
You're an We're also getting sagas, but not just sagas. We're getting...
Have we done saga creatures before?
I don't think so.
Because this is
It's
insane.
weird as fuck.
Not
Because
to
there's
mention,
questions. Because sagas, when the sagas are over, they die, right?
Yeah.
Sagas go away, so does the creature die?
So, as reading the card explains the card, as this saga enters, and after your draw step, add a
Oh, yeah, it
lore
does say
counter. Sacrifice after 5.
or
4,
whichever.
rather.
And
Yeah.
so, but the fact that it's... Are we looking at did we pull up the same one that we're looking at?
Are we looking at Bahamut?
Yep, we're looking at
Yeah,
Bahamut,
yep,
dude.
yep.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely insane.
So it's a 9-cost saga, 9/9 flying enchantment creature saga dragon.
Mind you, this is 9 generic, not 9 colorless, 9 generic. So really anybody can play it.
Do you know what really sucks? He's a dragon, so you know what he gets out for
It
free
is
with?
a
Draco Genesis.
dragon. Oh my gosh, there might actually be a thing there.
See, this is why I don't like dragons.
Scheiße.
This is why I don't like dragons. This
Wait
is
a
why
second.
Dracogenesis pissed me the fuck off, because now we get this.
Oh.
Oh, Dragon, I love you. Come here,
So-
Bahamut.
Oddly enough, I just Dracogenesis works really well in this deck that I've made around this, and I
Yep.
didn't even see that.
Yep.
Really, it just needs. I need a discard outlet, and beyond that, this should be pretty hot. So
So what does
Yeah, I'll
Bahamut
let you do-
What does Bahamut do?
So Bahamut on the first two chapters, I
Mhm.
believe is what they're called. You destroy up to one target non-land permanent. Nothing too big or anything.
So
just
the,
just
oppo-
nuke
the
anything
opponent
that
doesn't
you want.
choose. You
Yeah,
get to.
yeah.
Oh,
You
all right.
choose. It's not. They sacrifice
Okay.
something. You get to just blow up two things.
Yeah, but for 9 mana, that's a lot. Oh wait, Dracogenesis. Next.
Not to mention you have a 9/9 flyer. So maybe it's not attacking the first round, but it's definitely swinging in that second time.
Mhm.
Probably killing something that's chump blocking and then destroying something on top of that. So we're
Yeah.
three permanents in at that point of just like blowing stuff up, and then turn 3 comes around and you get to draw 2 cards.
Oh, okay.
Just in case
Just in
you were
case
running
you
out of
didn't have
stuff to
that.
do.
Yeah.
And then on the 4th turn, there's Mega Flare,
Mega Flare.
which is this creature deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent.
Mana value. So you play with Dracogenesis with all these really high cost dragons, and then you nuke the fuck out of everything.
Right,
Cool,
right.
got it.
Because
Oh, and it's to each
Dracogenesis,
opponent, not to yourself.
Dracogenesis adds to that amount.
Yep.
Summon Bahamut is, for whatever reason, not legendary. Okay, so you could have another one of these on deck.
Oh fuck! I
currently.
didn't realize
Yeah.
that. So if you put Dracogenesis in standard
And-
with this, and you have 4
And
of these, and
what was my main complaint? So again, that pretty much ties up this guy is a Saga Dragon flying 9/9, just beaten face for 4 turns.
he's also
Um,
the first card in the set. By the way, he's number 1.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, of course he's number 1.
Yeah, he's number 1.
Hell yeah. This is really just kind of a wet dream for anybody who's playing Eldrazi. This is a wet dream for anybody who's playing Sagas.
For dragons.
For dragons. It's just all around good stuff. And
Green
really,
also could take use of it because it's a big creature.
yeah, it's 9/9 and a flyer too, so it gets around one of their primary problems. So, keeping that in mind, here's another potential for standard that I'm looking at. You run 4 of those bad boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now that you brought it up, we're going to run 4 Dracogenesis as well so that we can free cast those bad boys and add to the overall converted mana cost on our board. All right? And what's the biggest problem that I brought up about Dracogenesis?
Is the fact
It's
that you think it's a
slow.
Yeah, you think it's a worse Omniscience,
very
but I think it's a
slow.
better Omniscience because in a Dragon deck, it's better than Omniscience. Don't even play Omniscience at that point.
Yeah. Well, unless you want to play another spell, but
But Dracogenesis is slow. It's 8, right? It's 6 and 2 red.
yeah. Yeah, so it's
I think-
it's still, we're talking
6 and 2 red. Yeah.
we're talking like turn 8 at the very at the very latest, ideally.
Unless you found a way to cheat it out.
I want to bring to light this little gem that I found. Yuna, Hope of Spira.
Is this in the Final Fantasy?
This is.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, her.
So, she is a 3/5 for 3 and a green and a white legendary creature, human cleric. During your turn, Yuna and enchantment creatures you control have trample, lifelink, and ward 2. An enchantment creature would be Bahamut.
Yep, Bahamut's
Okay.
an enchantment creature for some goddamn reason.
At the beginning of your end step, return up to 1 target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Finality counter, for those of you who are unaware, if a permanent with a finality counter would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield, exile it instead. So that doesn't work how I thought it does. If you can blink it,
Yeah.
it loses the finality counter and it can just go back to your graveyard.
So Dracogenesis, for those of you who haven't kept up, is an enchantment.
It is an enchantment. So yeah, basically what you're going to do is you're in green, mind you, so this should hit you turn 4 probably. Even at a 5-drop,
Yeah, and
it
the
should
cost
hit
in
4.
using red mana in standard, because in standard you can use any colors that you want, and they don't have that whole color identity.
Yeah,
thing they have
yeah,
to do.
you're not limited by color identity.
And it doesn't even matter how many red mana you put, because you're just gonna get this in your graveyard and pull it out for free.
Yeah, that's the big thing right now. Is I just need a graveyard enabler, something that allows me to just discard the crap out of my hand. Because if I can get Dracogenesis in my graveyard, I can turn 4 activate this on my instep, which is kind of rough. Okay, because it's got to sit around, and it does have a finality counter on it. So if they do pop it, it's gone.
But oh no, you got rid of one of them. Guess what? You still have, if you're gonna run 4 Dracogenesis, you're gonna run 4 Bahamuts.
I was gonna say turn 5, I can drop another Bahamut or 2 Bahamuts if I want to. I'm sure that there's a slew of beautiful dragons
Yeah,
that
because
we could
if you
find.
put 2 Bahamuts, you're destroying 2 permanents for 2 turns.
And then you have 2 9/9s that are swinging in next turn.
Yeah, and then you also you get to draw 4 cards on the third turnaround.
But yeah, no,
but that's really slow.
it is kind of slow,
Um,
and there's a lot that you can do.
Proliferate.
Proliferate is a big thing, and the other thing was like
green.
she is really key to it. So if they can pop her, if you can't protect her out there, the whole thing kind of falls apart. But again, these are all things that are in standard right now, or very shortly.
That's
so
scary.
we should I may actually look into building this deck. And I don't know
That's
what this
scary.
gal's story is, but if that's not a dragon, I really hope that she like washes her hands afterwards.
That's a
'cause
dragon.
That's
She also has, so she's
it's
from
like a
Final
sliver
Fantasy
dragon.
V.
Okay.
Do you know how I know she's from Final Fantasy V?
How do you know that?
They are doing special showcase cards of all these major heroes,
Right. On
and
the case.
and what they're doing is they are making these beautiful artworks for them, and behind them putting what game they're from,
Oh, very nice.
so that you see the 5 there. You'll see the V's, the I's. So they're doing it to
Gotcha.
all of them, which is
Gotcha.
super cool.
But the clown dude, I didn't ever know his name, but he always looked cool, and I definitely jive with the clowns and so forth. So
Kefka, the court mage.
Kefka the court mage. Okay. And I'm assuming, was he in 5? Or is that a...
I think he was in 5. Hold on, let me look at the showcase cards, and I can tell you when he was, because he's one of them. Let's see. Kefka is
He's got a very
6.
Okay, 6.
I think
He's
he
got a
was
very what's his name? He's got a very
Yeah, 6.
Pegasus aura to him.
I also noticed at the very bottom of the cards too, it shows you what game they're from.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Does that do it to every card? that it does.
Yeah.
Every single card, it
it's
shows
got
which
it-
Final Fantasy they're
It's
from.
got it here on his.
That's so cool.
So he's in
That's insane.
Rakdos, or not Rakdos, Grixis,
He's in Grixis,
human wizard. So
Grixis is blue, black, and red.
fits well into my my deck with the wizards.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a 4/5, and whenever he attacks or enters, each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. So that's going to get pretty hefty, especially in a 4-player pod.
Mm-hmm.
And then for 8 generic, each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice, and then you get to transform him based, and it's based only, or do it only as a sorcery speed.
Okay, and what's his flip?
His flip side is Kefka, Ruler of Ruin,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a legendary creature avatar wizard with flying, and whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards, and he is a 5/7.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and yeah, no, there's a
Better
plenty
be
of
playing
ways.
a Reliquary Tower.
There are plenty of ways to be drawing cards in a wizard deck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just gonna add to that, and very, very useful all the way around.
Yes.
Not
That
upset
is-
with this card.
No, that's gonna be a good bomb in anything to do with wizards.
I'm only
so.
sad that I can't duplicate him easily. But
Yeah, that is sad, but that's pretty cool though. I like that. That's gonna be a really fun strategy. And one thing that I also noticed about the set that a lot of people did,
Mhm.
you notice there's a lot of flip cards.
yes,
I want you to notice the keyword on every flip card, though. The what creature type are they all? They're all human.
Okay, I was gonna say I would assume human
Do you know why that's important?
because they're not all wizards.
There is a 2-cost green card
Okay.
from forever ago. I think it first was printed in Innistrad. I might be wrong. This is where I'm going to be wrong probably, but I'll put it up on the screen right here like
Well-
I have been.
We'll find out later. Fix it in post.
You flip human cards for 2.
Oh,
That's it.
that's gnarly. Moon Mist. Okay.
Moon Mist is a 2-cost instant common. Transform all humans.
That's
Prevent
so...
all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures other than werewolves and wolves. So, if somebody attacks you full out and doesn't have werewolves or wolves, you could be like, instant flip all of my really big scary guys and none of your damage goes through. Now you're tapped out and I'm going to swing for all of these really big scary things. So, Moon Mist, I just looked it up on TCG Player.
Mhm.
There is only 42 listings left of it. It is selling out on TCG Player.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
And it is now going
Look at that.
for $1.
Finance.
It's going for $1.43 a piece as a common
And that's why those of you who
from
subscribe,
Innistrad.
yeah, that's a common from Innistrad going for $2.
Yep. Sorry, lightly played $4.79.
Holy
is the average.
Toledo. Yeah.
because-
Check your
look at that.
binders, and if you've got them,
The price jumped
Sell
the
'em.
day of the announcement.
yep. Man, that's nuts.
The day of the announcement, it spiked.
Yeah, no, sell those
Over
all as soon as
2,000
possible.
sales of over $1 more. Look, 32 listings as low as $4.79. The highest sale price ever for it was $5.
That's not bad. That was probably Werewolves in Standard.
Mhm. There are a couple people on here though selling it for 11 cents
Mhm.
certain places. So if you want to play the flip cards, buy them
Grab them now. Well, again, this is why it pays to be a subscriber.
Yep, because
I
you
mean,
wouldn't know this like unless we did this research for you because that's what we do. We're here to do this research for you guys so that you're like, I don't want to spend all this time doing it. You watch our episode for an hour and a half and you just learn what you need to.
that. And those of you who are listening, who have been with us for a while, just keep in mind that our YouTube debut has happened this morning.
Our first
So
episode
if
for
you
free.
have,
If you have
the
friends.
humans,
Tarkir Human Storm.
Tarkir Human Storm.
Tarkir
Humans are
Human
bad.
Storm. Humans are bad.
But anyways, if you've got any friends that you wanted to like promote the show to, but you don't want to have to like, oh yeah, go sign up to their Patreon, just a little hey, check this out,
Yeah.
whatnot. Throw it in your Facebook feed, whatever the medias of the kids are these days.
True.
Get on the MySpace,
So,
Share Bear.
what's keyword corner? You said you wanted to bring up a keyword from here, right?
Not even so much from here, just kind of we tend to do this a lot nowadays where we don't really have like, and I'm sure that there's a word that they have internally for it, but they basically just throw an italicized word in front of an ability. Landfall is one that they do it with. It's the exact same format.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do landfall dash, then landfall ability. But where's one that we had? Stagger.
Yep.
Stagger is not a keyword ability,
No.
nor is it super keywordable. In that if you started printing Stagger on a bunch of different things, it wouldn't be nearly as profound on this character. Whereas I feel like on this character it works because this is a one of. It's not a regularly printed thing. And we do that a lot. I feel like we did that a lot back in the previous the Outlaw one. Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
There were several times there where they threw kind of just a flavor thing in, and
But it
then
worked though, and it looked good, and it like fit for the set.
It does, and I agree with that. And I think that's kind of where that like gray area is really kind of unique because again, without looking too far, I find it in Landfall. Like that is a keyword ability as far as I know.
It is a keyword ability, but it does something different for each card. But landfall doesn't change. Landfall is when I land enters the battlefield. It stays the same, but the subtext after is what changes.
But they keep that part, the reminder text
Yep.
in the text.
Yes.
So it's kind of a confusing little back and forth that I don't really understand. I don't know where they're at or why they like. Outside of the fact that it works and nobody's made a big fuss out of it, I don't know why it's continuing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't have too much beyond that in the keyword.
I have
and-
another one, like another italicized one.
Yeah.
This character, Kane, Traitorous Dragoon,
Okay.
has jump,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which is during your turn, Kane has flying.
And it sounds like, again, that's another one that could very easily be packaged up. I
something
suppose so.
Because we have reach, which is you can block creatures that have flying. This one's interesting because it's during your turn he has flying.
And it doesn't sound like flavor wise it hit quite as well, because I believe that this is supposed to, and again, haven't played any of these games.
Dragoons are spear users, and they can jump really high. They can fight and stuff like that, and they basically have reach because they use spears.
Right, but like in game, don't they like jump off screen where they're not touchable? Like
Yeah.
you can't attack them at all.
Basically,
So wouldn't it flavor wise makes more sense to just give them indestructible for
yeah.
the turn, or phase
Yeah.
them out like while it's not your turn. But yeah, no, that's something that they're using increasingly more often. And I don't really, I'm not entirely comfortable with it because I don't feel like there are rules to it.
Yeah, they can kind of basically do whatever weird one-off thing they want to do. Like this
Yeah.
one here, Xenos has my first friend.
That's
That's
the-
the italicized keyword. My first friend.
My first friend.
Cecil has darkness, which is cool as hell, which is also italicized. So there is a chef's knife for Tonberry.
Supernova. Is
Bad breath
one.
for Oh my god, this one's so funny. So people created a meme on this one. So this is Marlboro.
Okay.
His keyword thing is bad breath.
Is that a little bird thing?
No, it's a giant squid monster. But do you know what else
Oh.
also gives you bad breath? That's called Marlboro. Cigarettes.
Indeed.
So people have already photoshopped a cigarette packet of Marlboro on his thing. Yeah, here.
So the squid gives you bad breath,
yeah, see,
or he has bad breath.
he has bad breath. Marlboro.
Okay.
So, when he enters, each opponent discards a card, loses 2 life, and exiles the top 3 cards of their library.
Okay.
He also has swamp cycling, another weird keyword that hasn't been around forever. But yeah, I do like the fact that you brought that up because we do talk about keywords that are actually like listed keywords,
Yeah.
but we don't talk about these weird italicized ones that we can actually talk about all the time because they are only specific to this specific card.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe that's how they should have done stuff like Bushido back in the day, instead of making it like an actual like keyword.
it's
Like
just,
this
like,
is
italicized.
yeah, it's just italicized. It's all flavor at that point, and really Bushido needs to be explained every time that they put it on there. Anyways, that's not something that you're.
I
Gonna
have
just,
to explain every time I play my Samurais. I have to explain what Bushido does because everybody's like, "What the hell
Wait
is
a
that?"
second, what's that do?
Yeah, why are you old? Why is your favorite set Champions of Kamigawa?
You know, I do kind of wish that you had a way within that deck legally to give everybody horsemanship too, because that would be a flavor win
That'd be
there.
so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that. My hot take also comes from, like I said, we're doing everything Final Fantasy. So
Yeah,
my hot
that's-
take is Final Fantasy.
I was gonna say, like, I really just came in here planning to talk Final Fantasy all
Yep.
day, so we're gonna be really disheveled and,
Yeah.
and off the wall. with
Yeah,
this
because
one.
it's kind of like we're going based just on this. Like I have other hot takes I'm going to talk about like next week and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
actual like other hot takes for Magic, but this is specifically on this. My hot take is if they don't do more than one serialized card in the set, I'm actually going to be mad.
Oh, really?
This set deserves to have a couple.
No.
So we're already getting one, which has great flavor.
The
So-
Chocobo.
we're getting the Traveling Chocobo, which, first of all, has 7 variants of it. They have the normal one, that's a mythic. Then they have all full art ones that are one of each color Chocobo.
Mhm.
The black Chocobo is only going to come in Japanese because it is a tribute to the creator and artist of the Chocobos.
And you have to call that one Chocobo.
Chocobo.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it in Japanese, but
I don't either. So that's probably gonna be cut because oops. Uh,
Chocobo.
Chocobo senpai. But and then we're getting one special serialized all solid gold foiled chocobo that they're only making 77 of.
Well, not solid gold.
It's getting shiny gold, but
Which is so sad because tell me they couldn't afford to like actually print gold leaf into some of these.
I know, right?
Especially the serialized ones. Come on, Wizards.
I think it's
up
gonna
your
be
game.
I think it's gonna be a raised foil though, the way it looks.
All the more reason why it
Yep.
should have some gold in it. I mean, you know what might be the issue with that? Gold is significantly heavier and more dense, so even gold leaf,
You can metal.
I think,
You can metal detect the packs. and
not even
stuff.
metal detect, but like the card will weigh more. Like
Yeah.
so.
But they're making 77 of them only because in Final Fantasy, if you get your stats to 777, you then will deal 7,777 damage to everything all the time for the rest of the game. In the casinos, the lucky 777 is important. So the number 7 in Final Fantasy is very prominent and very important. So that's why they're only making 77 of these. So
That sounds flavorful. I thought the 777 was a lot when I initially thought that's what they were going to do, but 77 sounds really fair.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's also really low, right? And that's why my hot take is they need to do a couple of other serialized cards because all the other serialized ones we've done, except for the One Ring,
Yeah.
because there was one of them, spiked the price like crazy. 77 of these only worldwide is that is going to be a ridiculous market price, and that's why I think they should have other serialized. So, for example, Cloud, he uses that big sword. It's called the Buster Sword.
Right.
I think that should be a serialized one because that's very prominent. That's a very important piece of Final Fantasy history. Other certain
I'm just
weapons,
nodding along with that one. I've seen it before on a case.
like White Mage Staff or something like that. They could even do the starters in Land that they did as a serialized version.
Yeah, that one sounds like it's pretty
These very prominent,
nostalgic.
yeah, these prominent things in Final Fantasy should be serialized because if you're just gonna do the Chocobo, the price of that Chocobo is the thing I was mentioning, where it's just gonna be too much for people who love Final Fantasy.
Those are on level of invention prices.
Yes,
I feel
it's
like
gonna
if
be.
you crack one of those with a number on it, there's no way that thing's going to be less than $400 or $500.
Yes, because the Chocobo itself, the traveling Chocobo, is a good card.
And then if you grab like number 69 or number 7 or number 77,
number 1 is going to be a lot. Number 7 is going to be a lot. 17. I think any of the numbers
with a
of
derivative of 7
Yep.
in it. Yeah, that
and
makes
the
sense.
numbers of all the Final Fantasy games, I think, are going to be important too.
Okay. Okay.
Final Fantasy
That's a
8 is the
reach.
only Final Fantasy where the Chocobos were not a gigantic
Piece.
piece, so I think that one would be worth it just because of the hilarity.
Yeah.
77's obviously going to be a ton because of the lucky number 7.
How funny would it be if they just didn't make an 8?
That'd be
That makes sense. Or like the guy at the printer just sees the 8th one and just like stabs a pencil through it.
yeah. It's the
Can't
misprint
make that one now.
because now you also have to think too. What if those 77 have misprints on them?
I would
misprint,
hope.
but yeah,
I would hope
with
that
it being
there's a
that
level
limited, they
of-
can't.
Yeah, like there's really, you're standing over them, watching them. I would
Yeah.
hope for the serialized ones, like because I was actually thinking about that the other day. Like each card is different because there's a different number on each card, so
Yeah.
you really just have the one run. Like maybe they'll do 2 or 3 and then
Trash
destroy the other
two.
ones.
Yeah, the traveling chocobo though.
Right.
The actual effect of the traveling chocobo.
Yeah,
is
what's that guy do?
He's a mythic creature bird. He costs 2 and 1 green.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 3/2. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. First landfall trigger. Yeah, you heard first. He has 2 landfall triggers. First one is you may play lands and cast bird spells from the top of your library.
Okay.
Next is if a land or bird you control enters the battlefield, causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time.
Golden Goose just went off the chain.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Yes, there you go. So
Boom.
traveling chocobo is just good.
Golden Goose off the top 2 food tokens.
The problem with the solid gold serialized one, though, is it has no text on it, by the way.
Uh-huh.
0. It doesn't have any of the text of it. It's
Right.
just a full art. Remember, this. Remember when they did those full art, like, gold, those actual heavy commander cards that you
Yeah.
can, like, scan and stuff? That's
Yeah.
what it looks like,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it has no reminder text. It just shows what it is. So you need to have,
A copy of it.
if you want to play it in a deck, you legally in tournaments have to have the other copy because you can't. But they have a colored
As-
chocobo for every single color.
As somebody who just like plays all kinds of like crazy cards and
Mhm.
and like, you know, make my own shit and this and that and the other thing, and encouraging people to get out there and like play with their expensive cards. If you fucking sleeve up and shuffle a serialized card, I would smack you.
If I got this,
Like-
it would immediately be sent to PSA.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know that every one of them needs to. You know what? Yeah, it's a serialized card. Every one of them needs to be slated. There's no reason to be just out playing these. There's gonna be enough of these that end up on accident that like Grandma Joe went through and bought so and so a pack of Pokemon cards, but instead of Pokemon, she accidentally got the shiny Magic the Gathering cards because they look fucking the same nowadays.
Well, the thing is,
And then, you know, little kid is going to be sitting there, like, pulling out that serialized, and then just, like, chewing on it.
the first serialized cards, though, that they released like 10 of them in that one set.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 different types of serialized, and all the serialized were, like, in the thousands amounts.
Yeah.
Those ones, go ahead and play with them in your sleeves. The first serialized cards that came out weren't really worth it.
Actually, those,
They
those
are-
are rings of power, and
Not
shouldn't-
those ones. Those ones, no. There's the first actual set they ever released serialized cards in. They did a ton of them. In
What
it.
did they do serialized before? I thought that was the beginning of the serializing was...
It was, let's see. The first serialized cards in Magic were the Viscera Sheer cards from Secret Lair Phyrexian Praetor's Complete Edition.
Oh, okay.
They were found as a bonus card. Those ones are worth a
Doesn't-
ton.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like they could have overprinted them too much.
Holy shit.
If it was a bonus card.
So, the 2024 Magic the Gathering Hellkite serialized is going for $189,000.
Yeah.
There's 500 of those.
Damn.
So this is where I said 77. Like this one, this
Yeah.
Glittering Caves, right?
There's no way that these... I would be really
Glittering
surprised.
Caves out of 100 is 200K, which means these chocobos are going to go for at least that.
You think so?
I think so. First of all, they're everybody.
Serialized chocobo?
You knew what a chocobo.
100,000?
You've seen a chocobo even before you knew what really
Yeah.
big into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I was say
That's why.
the number of people in World of Warcraft that call the Hawkstriders chocobos.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, that's the thing. They were.
That's what I know
Um,
Hawkstriders as is chocobos, so
But that's the thing is, I think my hot take is they need to put more than just the chocobo in the set.
okay.
They have to have a higher number of the serialized of those other ones, because if they don't, the price on this thing is going to be absolutely absurd.
Well, see, I think that's kind of the plan too. Though it's really they've got enough other printings of everything that it's going to be. People are going to go nuts. This is
Yeah, considering all of the chocobos are mythic, there's one of each color chocobo plus the normal one plus the serialized.
mhm,
So we have 7 different chocobos you can open,
that's insane.
and they're all mythics.
I mean, it's no Sid. But-
No, but the thing is, they're all good though. Like the chocobo card is just good.
That could have been another fun one that they could have done. Is the serialized Sid?
Mm-hmm. That would have been funny as
do a
hell.
bunch
Make
of
only
those.
15 of them.
Or serialize one for each show,
Mm-hmm.
or show one for each instance of Sid throughout the.
Yeah, I feel like they could
the
do Cloud
franchise.
as a serialized card too. Just Cloud
Was-
himself, because he's so important.
Was Sid in Spirits from Within, and I just didn't. I wasn't paying
I think so.
attention?
Sid's
Okay.
been in literally every single
I'm
Final
gonna have
Fantasy.
to fucking
IP.
rewatch it then. It's on Tubi right now for those
Yep.
of you
Do
who
it.
are interested. It's free. Tubi's free.
Oh, I don't know if you noticed too. Cloud and Sephiroth, the first 2 printings of them, are if you put them next to each other, they're a.
Ah, very nice. I have Sephiroth as one of the ones that I had pulled up to talk about today. Both sides.
Yep.
Because Sephiroth is a flip.
He is. So that is it for my hot take for this time around.
Boom.
And we'll go over to Deck Spotlight.
So I know I've talked about a bunch of different like deck potentials, and I think that one Draco Genesis deck has got to happen at this point.
Dumb.
She is a 1/2 with trample and landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double Tifa Lockhart's power until the end of turn.
Yep.
Have we? What? Holy Jesus!
Yeah, who would give
Like-
yeah, because then what you can do is you just make her really
There's-
big really quick.
There's a dozen different ways to give her 20 power in modern.
There's a single
like-
card. There's a 2-card combo that you can do that can give her 32 power immediately.
Yeah,
So the Unfinity card, Embiggen,
and Biggin.
says it gets +1/+1 for every sub creature type that it is.
Mm-hmm.
There is 32 sub creature types in the game listed in the handbook. There is another card that says target creature is every single creature type
Oh,
in addition to its
gosh.
normal.
And
so you
then-
stick it on her and you play land.
Well, yeah. So that's beautiful. And then so you have one of your favorite cards, an Evolving Wilds or a Terramorphic Expanse. Crack that bad boy. You just doubled and then doubled that. Yeah, that's just
Double landfall.
insane
Yeah.
overkill.
Yep.
And you can do that as early as like turn 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Um,
And she can be your commander because
Yeah.
she's legendary.
she can be your commander. You could just run her and a bunch of lands.
Yep.
Um,
And equipments.
I
just
wouldn't even
something-
go
you
that
just
far.
buff
you just,
her up. You-
Just utility land out the wazoo, like.
Yeah, you literally just buff her as much as you can.
But yeah, no. As far as the deck spotlight goes, I was really I was thinking about throwing her in that other deck that I was talking about. She does fit in the colors.
Mhm.
She's not entirely like amazing in it, but again, as throughout the normal process of playing Magic the Gathering, you just play lands. So
Yeah.
like if there's any kind of buffing or whatnot that you can do to her to and there'll probably be plenty of like save so and so,
Yeah.
give a creature hexproof, whatever little things that you could put in there to save your 5-drop. And if you don't use them, just throw them on her and then drop a land for turn, make her an
That's-
8/5.
That is specifically why landfall makes me mad
Mhm.
because it's only value.
Yeah, 100%. It's
That's
like, oh,
why-
did you play a land
Dude.
this turn? Okay, good. Did
You
you,
get
play
benefits.
2? Awesome.
Yeah, that thing that you just
Did you find a way to get 3 lands? And are you having a rough time? Are you not ahead enough
Yeah.
in the game? Well, here's an ability that's going to trigger every time.
landfall is so dumb. Fuck you, Zendikar, for making landfall.
Fuck you, Zendikar. I mean, I think if any plane has been righteously fucked at this point, it has been Zendikar. Like I feel
Zendikar
Got-
deserved to
just
die.
raw dogged by Eldrazi.
Yeah.
Just like
Yep.
with some real tentacle porn there.
The so with Tifa too, right? Another thing that you can throw into that deck is one of the new lands. So they're lands towns now.
Mm-hmm.
The starting town card is really good
Right.
because when it enters tapped unless it's your first, second, or third turn of the game, which I love that
Mm-hmm.
because like we do have lands that give you benefit for playing them before other lands. Like if you don't have another land out, it comes into play tap, stuff
Right.
like that. I like that effect of first, second, or third turn because it gives you
It promotes that fast
promotes
play.
the fast
Yeah,
play.
like oh, you're gonna drop this on turn
Yep.
5. It's not really as useful now.
Yeah, and you
Like,
could pay one. You could tap it and pay a life to add 1 mana of any color,
Yeah.
which is really good for a fast land.
Mm-hmm.
There's also these towns that have a adventure cost that you can pay that cost as you play it,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to it being a land, but you have to play it first. The green one is 4 and 2 green, which is a lot, but it's green, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You create a 1/1 hero token, and you put a +1/+1 counter on it for each land you control.
Nice.
So, once again,
Mm-hmm.
it promotes that, right?
Yeah.
So throwing it in a green deck with Tifa, it doesn't affect her directly, but it does increase your power, and that's what green's about, of making big creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, no, Tifa's very buildable. She's very friendly.
Very buildable.
I don't know where she sits in the grand lore of anything or
Mm-hmm.
if that fit on the flavor end. But as far as a standard end goes, if she is not just like a core piece of the way that standard looks here over the next 2 years,
Yeah.
I would be very surprised.
Yep.
If green has a shot of being in standard, it is definitely with Tifa. This is an insanely powerful card with abilities to abuse. Like, and did I mention that she has trample? Like,
She
so
does have
when she
trample.
comes swinging through with 48 attack. Like, even if you try and like block it or whatnot,
Yep.
like you've got to chump block 48 damage at that point.
Yep.
Like, absolutely insane.
The deck spotlight I want to do
Yes.
is I also want to make a deck from. I have two that I want to make. One of them is an additional Yuna because there's 2 Yunas in the set compared to the other one you have. But the one I really want to build is the Moogle Merchant. So he is.
Now,
a-
are we talking like standard decks, or are we talking?
I'm talking Commander.
Okay,
This
okay.
one's Commander.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been trying to stick
Yep.
really standard just because there's so much commander.
There's so much
potential
Commander.
here.
However,
But
I still want to bring up a Commander. Thing,
yes,
right?
I have one that I
Um,
wanted to bring up too.
Mine
so
is
I'll
the
let ya-
Moogle Merchant. He has a 1 white, 1/2 legendary creature Moogle.
Mhm.
He has
That's the
lifelink.
little funny looking
Yeah.
fella, right? Okay, yeah.
He's like your companion in all the Final Fantasy stuff. The
Mhm.
Moogles, they have
I
the little red ball on their head.
just know him from the card art at this
Yep.
point. Yeah.
You pay 2 and tap it,
Mhm.
and target opponent gains control of another target permanent you control. And if they do, you draw a
Ooh.
card. So
Group hug.
this is where that whole you play things like you can't attack and stuff. And you
Right.
just give those things so they can't do anything. So you lock your opponents out. White doesn't have a lot of win conditions, but if you play the Moogle Merchant, it's hilarious because you're like, yeah, if you use him as a commander, you're only stuck to white.
So what
But
was
there's still really funny things you can do with white.
what was the second part of his ability? You draw a card. For...
Yeah, if they do, you draw a card.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So really, even on the simple end, you could just play a buttload of like pacifisms and so
Yeah.
forth, and like, oh yeah, now you can have control of that pacifism.
Yep.
It's on your creature, so unless you destroy your creature, it doesn't really do anything for you.
yeah,
but
so it's another one of those
you
group
control
hug
it. I'll draw
move
a
it-
card.
Yeah, and if you don't play that as your commander, you can play the goat guy that's in
Oh yeah,
the white that you move things around.
Zabu or
Yeah,
whatnot.
and so you just play the Moogle Merchant with that. So now you have 2 ways to fuck
pass
your
stuff
opponents
around
over.
and draw all kinds of cards.
Yep. And then the second one is actually going to be a pre-built commander deck.
Ooh.
It's going to be Yuna Grand Summoner.
Okay.
So she has Grand Summon, which is you tap it and you add 1 mana of any color.
Mm-hmm.
When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters.
Okay.
Whenever another permanent you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you may put that number of +1/+1 counters on target creature.
Oh, nice. So she's
you-
got kind of a
You just move 1/1 counters
just
around,
an
basically.
onboard Ozolith
Yep.
instant. You don't have to
And
worry
she's
about
green, white, and blue.
combats rolling around.
Yep,
Green, white, and blue.
She costs,
okay, so in
she's
the
a
Tamir,
4-cost 1/5.
or no, green, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Green, white, and blue. Oh,
I don't know these color
I
combos.
don't
still
know.
yet.
That's over. Actually, that's in the one that was split up.
Don't
Alara.
ask me. Don't ask me.
Alara. Yeah.
But she costs 4 and she's a 1/5. And the fact 1/5 is great because she's tanky.
Mm.
Being a 5 is really good because that means she doesn't die to things like an instant lightning bolt or something like that,
Yeah.
right? But no, she's because the commander cards that they're doing as well, the commander cards, the symbol for the set symbol for the Final Fantasy Commander
Mm-hmm.
are chocobos. Look at them, they're little chocobos. So, because now they're doing that for like every set, is they're doing a separate commander set within the sets
Mm.
and stuff, and that's within that.
Bant, by the way.
Bant.
Bant.
Okay.
That might be the worst color combo. That's the Thor to the Dark World of color
Mhm.
combinations.
Yeah, and what you do is you play Titus with her because
Mhm.
Titus is the exact same colors as her. And at Titus, Yuna's guardian.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may remove a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature you control.
Okay.
And he has something called Cheer, which is whenever one or more creatures you control with counters on them deal damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate.
Yay!
So you play them together, and you're not just getting a +1/+1 counter when you do it. Remember what it says is you can move a counter from a creature you control to a second creature.
Oh, nice.
And her second ability says that when you move counters, you just move counters. So with both of them together, you're just like
doubling up.
and moving counters, 2 things to protect them all the time.
Hell
and
yeah.
it's increasing every turn.
Then you're just doubling counters, right?
Yeah. You're
So-
proliferating.
Okay.
Because proliferates, you double the
Yeah.
counters.
So like
it has
if you
2,
have a
then it
shield
has 4,
counter
then it
and
has
a
8.
+1/+1 counter,
Mhm.
and shield counters are heavily underused. I feel
They
like.
are, and with the proliferate stuff, yeah, it says you do it once per turn for Cheer. But even his beginning of combat, the fact that you can move the counters around is crazy. Because
Insane.
you can buff one person up, and then you're like, I'm gonna swing with this guy in the air flying, and you're like, okay. But guess what? I, at the beginning of combat, decided to move all my +1/+1 counters to this guy with flying, and now he's like a 20/20.
Or my 9/9 Vomit.
Yep, because
Like-
it says move. Yeah, it's just nice that you just move the counters. So,
Yeah.
but that is my 2 deck spotlight ideas: is the Moogle, just because to move things around,
Mhm.
and then Yuna. I think is going to be pretty fun. Like, I want to build her, and I want to find ways to just pump +1/+1 counters and just move them around.
So I'm gonna go in order. I forget why I had this guy up there. I might have thought about doing another deck on him, but Zodiark, the Umbral God. He's
yeah.
5 black pips, 5/5, which I
Mhm.
think you could. I don't know if there's a flavor win for that or not, but
I
I feel
don't
like for 5 black, you should get at least.
It's
kind of
weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they're like 5 black instead of like 4 and a black or something, or like 3 and 2 blacks. It's
Yeah.
kind of a weird choice, but
It looks nice up there, but yeah, that's pretty steep. And so he's a legendary creature god with indestructible, very on point for a god. And when he enters, each player sacrifices half of their non-god creatures they control of their choice, rounded down. So basically, you just get to sacrifice half your creatures, unless you're playing shapeshifters. And then whenever a player sacrifices another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Zodiark. Okay, that kind of makes sense with the lower. So he's going to drop in, kill a bunch of stuff, and then
get really big,
get
depending on
decently
what's out
large. And he's indestructible, so that's not horrible. I might actually have to make some
Playing
type of
him
commander
against
on him.
like my mirror deck would be scary
Yeah.
because I pump out like mirror tokens like crazy. Like if you kill 44 of my mirror tokens, he enters the battlefield as a 49/49
Yeah.
indestructible.
Indestructible. But yeah, no, he's a fun one. I definitely like the art with him. You
Yeah.
familiar with the?
Yeah, the art's really cool. They're probably going to do like a special art version of him because we've only gotten the heroes as special showcase arts right now.
Mhm.
We haven't gotten any of the villains as them. So
But the one that I think I finally that I decided that I really would want to build is the Sephiroth,
Which
the fabled
one?
soldier.
the flip one.
Yeah. And he's a 2 and a black for a 3/3 human avatar soldier. And whenever he enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time this has happened as a result of this turn, transform him. And
or you
then-
can just transform him with that green. If you
Right.
put him in green.
Well, as your commander, you wouldn't be
Yep.
able to play that. But then when he flips, the really crazy thing is he's a creature that makes emblems. He's a 5/5 with flying, and he has supernova. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth, 1 winged angel,
Yep.
you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So you get an emblem.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool flavor though, because Sephiroth's a very important part of the story because he's the 1 wing angel. He starts as a good guy and then becomes a bad guy.
That sounds so weird. That and the art. So he doesn't have like a wing. They like transformed one of his arms into a wing.
There's
so-
multiple there's multiple variations of Sephiroth in the games because there are different transformations he does.
Okay.
Which is also why he is a reprint of Atraxa Grand Unifier.
Oh,
as
that's
well.
the other reprint. That
Yeah,
we
the
got.
really,
Okay.
really pretty art. Well,
Gotcha.
dude, that
That one is pretty gnarly.
That's why I think that should be serialized too. 'cause
That
that's
nip blend.
gorgeous.
Yeah, that would be a
Gorgeous.
serialized Atraxa would be
Would be
just
insane.
beautiful, anyways.
Yeah.
But no, the beauty of this guy is, especially in the command zone, say I get him out there and I pull off flipping him, which again in a mono black shouldn't be difficult to get people to sacrifice or to get 4 creatures to die. Then I flip him. When I flip him, I get the emblem, which, as far as I know, in game emblems are untouchable. So once that hits the board,
Unless you have destroy, because there is a destroy emblem or destroy target permanent, because that counts.
it's not a permanent.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
it's
No,
not.
it is.
There is a card that destroys emblems. Let me find it. While you're
As I
talking.
say, I think Karn is the only one that I know of that can, and he can't technically destroy them. He just restarts the game.
It is just Karn. There is
Yeah.
no direct way to destroy or remove an emblem from the game, unless you just.
So yeah, you pop this guy down for 3. You go ahead and get him flipped over, which is again really pretty easy to do. You get that emblem, and then even if they end up killing the 5/5 that's sitting on the board with flying, you get to cast him again,
Yeah.
potentially transform him again, get yourself another emblem. Like I can do that all day long, especially in Commander.
Yeah.
And again, this is in Commander, so these are pods of 4. So whenever an opponent loses 1 life, you gain a life. So everybody loses 1, I gain 3.
Yep. So you're just consistently staying ahead of the curve. For
Yeah.
damage, which is nice.
Yeah, that, and again, it's just it stacks so heavily. And then his final ability is whenever he attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures if you do draw that many cards. So yeah, definitely a
that's gonna
commander
be
that I
good.
would build
Yep.
around. I really like that mono black. Everybody sacrifices shit.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome. I really love that. So
2, 3, 4. I have 4 more that I'd like to go over before we
that's fine.
we cut. The next one is the first mono blue that I've got was the Y'shtola rule.
Mm-hmm.
The legendary creature cat druid for 4 and 2 blue. She's a 3/5 and has very perplexing card text. At the beginning of your end step, exile target creature you control. Then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. All normal stuff blue does all the time.
Yep.
Then, if it's the first end step of the turn, there's an additional end step after this step. So basically, you would get to do that thing again in the nicest way or in the simplest way possible. Basically, you get to flicker whatever you flickered the first time a second time, and then that's it. That being said, it sounds like there are plenty of different ways that people have run into abuse this situation and to potentially just confuse the hell out of your opponents to the point where nobody knows what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
She was a lot of fun. Cloud, I suppose we did already go over.
Yeah. Cloud's pretty good.
And yeah, you're right. That Buster is definitely pretty iconic. I mean, I get a real Zanpakuto feel to it, but
Everybody
at the same
knows
time,
the Buster Sword.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know the name of it, you know the Buster
oh yeah,
Sword.
Final Fantasy, the guy with the sword.
The 2 giant holes in the sword. Yeah. So Rai, I actually meant to bring it over, and I forgot to, but I was going to have it in the background. She made one by hand.
Oh yeah, we should have totally. How do we not have that?
I know.
Such a flavor lose, flavor fail.
But no, she has one. It's not like painted and stuff yet. It's still in the makings, but
Still,
it is.
yeah.
It's fucking hefty.
Hell yeah. Me and Thomas, my son, we had big ass wooden swords that were kind of along those lines. We took him out sparring for a little while during COVID just to build up that upper body strength and whatnot. He was playing a lot of Dark Souls at the time, so.
Yep.
And then I think the last new card that I have is Saja's Chocobo, which is a 1-drop bird.
Dude. Oh, yeah.
It's a 0/1, and it has go figure
Landfall.
landfall.
It has
When-
landfall.
Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature.
Mm-hmm.
Which basically is that's card text for this tiny little bird is gonna whoop your ass in like 3 turns.
So what you do is, do you know what commander you want to play with that bird instead?
I
Bart's and Boko.
okay.
So Bart's and Boko is a human bird green with affinity for birds. And when he enters,
Affinity
each
for
other bird you
birds.
control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls.
Holy
So you
Toledo.
combo it with that bird, and you also play the chocobo.
Yeah.
So this is all birds.
All birds. What color is the bird guy?
Green.
He's just great. We were talking about this, I think, in episode 1. I was
Just
like, we
green.
should go to a world where the birds are all ossuaries and fucking
Just green.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So guess what? You could also play Birds of Paradise because it's
Birds,
green.
yeah, yep.
Dude,
Birds of Paradise.
Birds finally have a
Mag-
legendary creature affinity.
Golden Goose.
Golden Goose.
Mm-hmm. Isn't
The Goose Hydra?
The Goose Hydra is blue, I
Oh,
think.
is he?
Yeah.
No, not
Yeah,
Goose
I could
Hydra.
be. I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Mother Goose Hydra with the Otherwise, if it's mono green, 100%. Yeah, I would definitely run that in here. That would be that'd be a fun bird flavored deck.
Yeah, now I have to look up birds. Dude, there's so many birds.
Birds.
Yeah, Golden Goose, Birds of Paradise.
Bird. Bird is the word. Oh, you could just not like stop saying that the entire time that you're shuffling the deck. Just
Yep.
like
Bird. Bird is the word. You know the bird. Bird is the word. You know the bird. The bird is the word. Just keep going.
ooh mow 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 mow.
I'm looking up the birds now because, dude, there's so many birds.
That's what's actually going to come out of Final Fantasy is a bird
It's just bird tribal.
tribal. Mono green bird tribal.
Yeah, bird tribal.
But yeah, no, that guy's
Yeah, that one cost landfall chocobo
that's
is so
insane. That and it's just a
crazy.
tiny little chicken.
He's
It's
so
like, look at
cute,
this
dude.
little guy. He's just little.
Chocobos are
Just kidding.
such
It's
a-
gonna kill you
Chocobos are such a real thing, though.
because it's an ossuary.
It's an ossuary. But no, yeah, you put it there. Yeah, that's really good.
So, and then the last one that I had,
play her
and
with
then
Tifa.
again, maybe you can shed some light on this with a little bit of your Final Fantasy knowledge. But is word for word, is Dark Confidant a thing in, or is that just a play off the Black Wizard or whatnot?
So Dark Confidant is just a play off of the Ravnica named Dark Confidant, and they just basically they took a black mage and just put him as the picture for Dark Confidant.
Okay,
That's all.
Gotcha.
They're just kind of an
There's
important
nothing-
No, it's just
they
just a
were just
reprint.
like, you know what, I don't know if we have enough power in this set. Is there any way that like we could
Yeah.
print like a
However-
relevant card to
However,
standard?
they did make him a mythic in the Final Fantasy set instead of a rare.
No, and that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like Chica, either one of those Chicas could have very easily been mythic.
That's how much it's pre-selling for.
Dark Confidant?
Yep,
Really?
$89.
That's absolutely
It
insane.
is pre-selling. The full art is pre-selling for $139.
See, I feel like the biggest downfall to this card came at a set. I mean, Tarkir Dragonstorm, as we've discussed, isn't really super hyper focused on cards with dragons, but with cards with large mana costs, which is normally what we end up doing when we go to a dragon set or a dragon plane or something like that. They just, we're gonna go for high CMCs. Here we're back into dragons again, so high CMCs. But yeah, most of the decent like bombs and so forth from Dragonstorm and in standard right now are going to be 5+ CMC.
Yeah.
And paying 5 life for a card, especially on turn 2, you've got to have a hell of a clock at that point. Like 5 life is a steep bit to come over. Now, let's say that you're playing a deck where you could top deck something, that's like a 9-drop or something.
Yeah,
You get
like
that
Bahamut.
Dragonstorm, Bahamut or whatnot. Yeah. Boom. That's you're not gonna make it through a second draw step. So I don't know that Dark Confidant is nearly as powerful in this setup
I think it's just more of for the flavor.
for the hype. Yeah.
So the biggest thing about the Final Fantasy set that I've liked is all of the. Remember how they usually put sayings and quotes and stuff on the bottoms of the Magic cards for the flavor, and it's like
Yeah.
what the character's saying and stuff.
Yeah, the flavor text.
Every single flavor text in these cards is things that have actually been said in the games.
Fare you well, bringer of light.
Yep, literally all of them. Yeah, it's so cool because that's an important part too. Right?
The end draws near.
Yep.
Oh, what
This
else
is
you got?
Cornelia, the city of dreams. Guy speak beaver.
What is that from?
It's got commune with beavers. It is from.
Commune with beavers is a magic card.
It is a 1-cost green sorcery that you look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact, creature, or land. Put it from among them. Put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
Honey, I know that I've upset you today, but I'd like to cast Commune with Beavers. Does that resolve? Counterspell, do the dishes.
May thine commune with your beaver.
May thine commune with thine beaver.
But yeah, Town Greeter is really good too. He's also green.
Okay.
When it enters, mill 4 cards, you put a land from among them into your hand. And
Okay.
Put the rest.
Green mill stuff
Yep.
going on there.
But like all of the green, like all really goes with each other.
As I suspected, the ethereal disturbance here has no natural occurrence. Oh, is no natural occurrence.
Yep.
That's the cat druid lady.
And then Tifa says, "I'm pretty good at taking care of myself, you know."
Oh, yep, I saw that one.
Yep.
Yeah, and she is too. I mean, dies to removal, but I think that's for the best of everyone.
Yep.
Gosh, that's such a powerful card.
So another green card I wanted to bring up because you brought it up at the very beginning was A Realm Reborn, and you thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy Online, there's been 2 Final Fantasy Onlines. The
Mhm.
first one is still going, and it's pretty old. I think it's 10, and it's definitely an old MMO, right? They
Right.
still do updates, and they still do stuff to it. They still do the yearly events, but it's dying slowly. There's
Yeah.
only like 2,000 players on
Yeah,
it.
it gets these surges every time that
Yeah.
Blizzard like sticks their thumb up
But
their
that's
ass,
the
which is
that's
about
the
once
original
a-
one. The new one called Final Fantasy: A Realm Reborn is technically the 3rd. So when they came out with Final Fantasy Online, they kind of messed up how everything worked and stuff. And instead of doing the Blizzard effect, which is let's just keep patching stuff and hope it fixes it,
Yay!
Final Fantasy went and Square Enix goes, what if we did a cataclysmic event in the game and restarted the game?
Oh, Blizzard also did that too.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy did it correctly. Like they literally deleted everything. They did a full game wipe,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yep, we're doing all this." And then they made it, and they called the game Final Fantasy Online: A Realm Reborn.
See, I think the branding was the appropriate thing that they did.
Yeah, and they made A Realm
Yeah.
Reborn a card in
Mm.
this, and it's a green enchantment that other permanents you control have tap in and add 1 mana of any color.
Man, I wonder if they had tried releasing Classic back then.
Yeah.
And they actually just like promoted it as again a Realm Reborn or like
Yep.
a different like, hey, this is World of Warcraft timelines over here. We'll like dip into like crazy stuff and things that you've never seen.
Yep.
But if you want to stay on Azeroth and keep things the way that they are, play here on Classic where we just play through Wrath.
Yep.
The only thing that was worth making.
Facts. But I do really like the fact that the lore and everything's really, really tight on this, and that kind of brings me to the Reddit roundup that I have.
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah,
This, for this week.
I was wondering if you were
Is-
gonna pull a decent Reddit roundup. Is it Final Fantasy?
It is
related?
Final Fantasy related.
Cool, because I tried looking at some deck lists or some hypotheticals or whatnot, and everybody's in spoiler season. Everything that I was finding was just, oh, I found this, oh, I found this, oh, I found, and it's
So
like,
I actually had to just go to the Final Fantasy Reddit,
okay,
not the Magic Reddit, the Final
Nice.
Fantasy Reddit,
hell yes,
to be able to pull this one.
hell yes,
And it's an article, actually, that I'll mention what the article is, and I will talk about people's responses to the article,
right,
because their first initial thoughts of it are completely opposite of mine, where I said these cards are going to be expensive. They think they're not.
really,
They think it's going to have the Lord of the Rings effect, where they're all like pennies, but people were wrong about that, too, because
Yeah.
look at Orcish Bowmasters.
yeah. I was gonna say there's still plenty of decent value to pull out of that.
So the Final Fantasy set is an expansion that was 4 years in the making.
Oh.
So this isn't something they thought of like recently, because a lot of the times Magic sets they kind of have some foresight, right? And they're like, we're gonna start
Yeah.
making it. This is our idea, but they don't really start building it until like a year before.
That, and I
This
feel
is
like
started
the
before
universes-
COVID.
I feel like the universe is beyond properties, or because they do plan out at least the R&D for internal sets.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of timing involved with licensing and so forth when it comes to the universes beyond.
Yeah.
So they have windows that they have to do their shit in. So
Yeah.
4 years is that really, the proof is in the pudding. I feel like with the amount of development that they've got on the far end of this.
So the article is two key members of the Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy team taught card design, fostering partnerships, and more. So officially, 2 years ago, Wizards of the Coast and Square Enix announced a collaboration that would bring the worlds and characters of Final Fantasy to Magic the Gathering, a tabletop game juggernaut. Recently, Wizards of the Coast gave us a first look at some of the cards that included in the set, which range from expected faces like Cloud, Titus, and Terra, to wackier inclusions like Jumbo Cactar and its 10,000 damage ability.
I love that this is the point where Jumbo Cactar has come in on this conversation.
I know, considering it's been the
That
craziest
was
thing.
that was the first thing that I heard about with any of this, and the most.
And
that
everybody
I've
was
heard
like, dude,
about.
that's so dumb. And other people were like, that it's not good at all. I'm like,
It's-
fling it for 10,000 damage?
I still maybe this is why I feel like people need to play more unsets. This is a nerfed version of the Infinity Elemental.
Oh, it is.
So
Yep.
10,000 is nothing next to Infinity.
Yeah.
You fling an Infinity powered creature at somebody.
Yeah, this was posted on March 4th, so this is still a relatively new article.
Mhm.
The conversation, the set's still 3 months away, but people are starting to release cards and stuff. The conversation includes both the creative side of developing a set like Final Fantasy, refining 16 games into one set, designing philosophies behind some of the cards, and more, and the fostering of the partnership between Wizards of the Coast and Square Enix. To hear Wizards tell it, this may be the first time the two sides have collaborated, but it won't necessarily be the last because of it, depending on how well this goes.
Well, is there another IP, or are we just doing more Final Fantasy stuff?
Maybe more Final Fantasy stuff. We might
Okay.
get more because the thing is, it's already done it. So the relationship may be 4 years in, but there's still plenty to discuss even this close to launch.
Mm-hmm.
This is a quote from Wizards execs and Square Enix, and it says, "It takes so much time and conversation from the first reveal, like we did recently, to the set's launch, and then to any post-launch plans like reprints and everything else. Universes Beyond partnerships can be 5, 6, sometimes even 7-year relationships depending on the pipeline." One key element in getting the deal done, as Vihei tells it, was Square Enix's Japan's love for Magic. "I hopped into a weekly call for the first time, and one guy from Square Enix hops on and says, 'I played 4 pre-releases last week, and I have new questions about my modern deck.'" So,
Dude, that's the sixth color
Yep.
right there. That's that, like, Magic has outgrown what Wizards can do, because they've got people over in other IPs that are just like, oh, I can design some Magic cards? Hell yeah. Hold on a second. Let me not go to Friday Night Magic this weekend so I can do stuff. Like,
Final Fantasy's producer, Soichi Ichikawa-san, is so into it. One of the team members over there owns a Black Lotus. They're
Nice.
serious Magic players.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose we should see what the numbers are for
Yeah.
that. I mean, I don't want to be like everybody owns a Black Lotus, but like, is that the barrier for entry on, like, I'm a serious fan, I have a Black Lotus? I feel like there's probably more people out there that have, like, I've been holding this Black Lotus for 20 years and I hope it's worth a couple $100 now. Like, they're so disconnected from the Magic world that they don't even know what they have.
Yeah, even with specific parameters and pinpoint feedback, however, distilling 16 full-length RPGs into one card game expansion takes a lot of work, as Vere says. A short Final Fantasy game is like 12 hours long.
Yeah.
And you have Final Fantasy 14, which can be played for hundreds of hours.
Nice.
14 is the online game.
Gotcha. Okay.
One game posted a unique challenge, Final Fantasy 16, which launched in 2023,
Okay.
which was going through active development at the same time as the Magic set.
Very nice.
So they came out around the same time.
Let's do a lot of hush hush.
So to help with
Yeah.
planning, they didn't actually get their hands on the game until launch.
Oh.
When Final Fantasy 16 finally launched, Very says, there was a week when the 4 main designers agreed that we wouldn't spoil anything for each other, but we'd just post what was happening in our chat as we were going, saying, this should be a card.
That's
which
pretty
is
cool.
where, like, some like cards like Tonberry and stuff, like remakes and stuff, and
Oh,
having
yeah.
to fix it around.
Yep.
One unique way to keep track of each game's representation through the specific game destinations on the bottom of every card. There are some obvious, the cloud cards seen so very, say, Final Fantasy 7 on the bottom. But Tonberry, for example, is specifically the creature's Final Fantasy 5 iteration. Because Tonberry has been in a bunch of different ones, but they wanted to represent each one of these by putting what game they were on the bottom of the card.
Is that the guy with the chef's knife?
Yeah, it's the
guy with the chef's
Nice.
Dude, that's another italicized one that's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where
First strike, death touch.
First strike, death touch. But I like the fact that this is what I mean is this article is very unbelievably well written because the passion between Wizards of the Coast and Final Fantasy
Correct.
is there. It's not like Lord of the Rings where like, that was definitely kind of a cash money grab. This is a passion
and
project.
It was stupid easy. Like
Yeah.
there's no way that you couldn't look at like most of Lord of the Rings and Tolkien stuff. Like inspired what Magic the Gathering is, what fantasy is as a genre. So it makes a lot of sense that you just lay the patterns over it, and then bada boom was Orcish Bowmasters a ridiculously hard thing to develop.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
No, but
Like,
now it's banned in formats, or it's on the game changer list now.
yeah,
because it is a
100%
game changer.
especially in Commander. Yeah, no, that gets just absolutely absurd. But it also really is just a game changer if you're looking to like draw a bunch of cards. Like if
Yeah.
you're not drawing a bunch of cards, then it doesn't really do a whole lot.
My favorite thing that they talk about is they say Final Fantasy marks a new era for Magic the Gathering, as it is the first Universes Beyond set that will be legal in the game's standard competitive
Yes.
format. It also won't be the last for 2025, as themed around Marvel's Spider-Man and Avatar: The Last Airbender have already been confirmed for September and November, respectively.
But Spider-Man's not getting the arena release,
It's not.
which we are. We are getting Final Fantasy and straight
Yeah.
up in arena. I'm gonna
Which
start.
proves it's Sony's fucking problem.
That is where I'm very convinced at this point. I've got to figure out. I tried signing up for a qualifier within Arena and figured that I could just take my standard deck and didn't read the fine print enough, so I ended up just having to make up a deck on the spot, which did pretty decent. I lasted a couple rounds and called it a day. It was there's some really grindy games in there with a lot of really ridiculous bullshit. Intensity in Alchemy is absolutely broken.
Yep.
But anyways, I definitely think I'm going to do a focus and just like save all my shit until it hits Arena and then see how much I can do with just a deck based off the Final Fantasy cards.
I think it's
yeah,
gonna
there's
do
so
good.
much power in
Yeah.
there. It's amazing.
Yeah, he continues on after that with that and says, with the rise of Universes Beyond has come to a subset of fans who wish Magic were still Magic, where outside IP don't have such a foothold in the game. The team has heard these complaints, and those desires are not lost in them. And he says, I hear it, and I respect those opinions, but I still think it's right for us to continue growing this community for another 35 years. And to do that, we have to keep bringing people in.
Yeah.
Which is what we discussed.
Yeah.
Shepard said, if someone's like, I love the Magic IP, we do too. It's very important to me and all the work my team does in addition to Universes Beyond. The in-universe worlds of Magic are about to be explored heavily outside of the card game with a Netflix animated series, live-action projects for both TV and theaters coming from the Legendary Pictures, and
we'll
books
see.
from Dark Horse Publishing.
We'll see.
Ultimately, as Shepard says, we are trying to give everyone everything they want.
Honestly, I think that Magic the Gathering has a better chance of getting a Broadway IP before we get a fucking show or a TV, anything, movie. I can't. I can't tell you. It's been like 4 times that there has been something that is fully greenlit and then just gets shut down. Like we had voice actors and like concept art for the show on Netflix last time, and at the end of the day, it wasn't like, oh well, that really there was this thing that stopped it from happening. No, they just crapped in their hands and walked away.
Yep.
That was all that was. Like,
Yeah.
But-
In the final part of this, he says, it's okay if you don't love Final Fantasy. Making Magic for everyone also means not everyone's going to love the decisions we make, Shepard says. But if we choose a partner that your kids also love, or your brother or sister or roommate also knows about but doesn't play Magic, and it encourages them to join you for a game, we've done our job. We've grown the gathering by one more. And that is the part that I mentioned to you where at first I wasn't about it, but I just want more Magic players. I want more people to play with.
yeah.
And that is what Universes Beyond is doing.
If you want to play your Buffy the Vampire Slayer deck at the next pod, bring it. Come on, let's go. We already have people playing crap like Blightsteel Colossus and so forth.
Rye
like,
wasn't really into like trying to get like super heavy into Magic, and then I said, hey, by the way, they have a dog meat card from Fallout.
Yeah.
She was all about it then.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Amazing the way you can just pull somebody in.
That's it.
The number of times I heard somebody complaining, one of those people from Magic that was like, I don't like the way people are getting outside. This Universes Beyond is pretty stupid and they're ruining Magic. But if they ever do a Dragon Ball Z setup,
Dude, they're gonna get so dude, if they could, because the thing is, like, this is, I know Lord of the Rings is a big collaboration, right? I think between Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy is the bigger collaboration. Final Fantasy is a gigantic IP.
Yeah, that's so huge. I mean, Final Fantasy has ties into Disney and shit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Cloud's over with what is that? The Smash Brothers and somebody brought that up.
Yes,
the
they're
other
in
day.
Nintendo, and like that's the thing is the
Pods are gonna start looking like a Smash Brothers lineup. Like, it's me, Mario.
Optimus Prime versus Cloud. Fight.
Honestly, like, does I hate to say it, but does Optimus even like stand a chance? I don't know anything about this Cloud guy, but if he's the current Magic embodiment of a legendary Stoneforge mystic, is he not like able to just manipulate the materials of Optimus Prime? Like,
that's the craziest thing. True. So we'll have a BJ's membership. Well, not a BJ's, a Sam's Club.
Oh,
I have a BJ's membership.
Yeah, I was gonna say I need to get me one of those fuckers, man.
Commune with the Beavers, they get the BJ membership.
Yeah, just Highway 69.
Yep. Cool. So now I can actually do the
Commune with Beavers. It's standard.
So this month's giveaway, we are still we're keeping it kind of hush hush, you know.
Inter stuff here at this point. Blah blah blah.
We're trying to surprise you guys this time, right? Because last month we built a lot of hype around the SpongeBob.
We do have the Miku one that we want to do at some point in the future.
We do.
I just feel like it's. I'd like to find either a place where a month where we just don't have anything. Again, we've got a lot of stuff going on between Dragonstorm and whatnot.
Because we already kind of know, like, for example, I know I want to do a Final Fantasy giveaway.
Yeah.
Right. However, it comes out June 13th, June 12th. June 13th. It's a month away.
So it'll be next month.
Yeah, so it'll probably be next month's giveaway.
Next month's giveaway is something from...
Yeah, but you guys should at least know that ahead of time, because then you can tell your friends, hey, they're going to be giving away Final Fantasy stuff.
Well, then you can let your friends know we're gonna do a giveaway each month.
Every month anyway, right?
Yeah.
And regardless of what it is, it's always going to be worth it for your value.
Yeah.
We're not just going to be like, haha, here's some Draco Genesis.
I mean, to be fair, for Draco Genesis is what, like,
that's actually
$160?
kind of worth money right now.
No, that's where I was sitting with the counterfeit cards. On one hand, they're invaluable. I couldn't find a way to like get more of these if I needed to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they are like face value worth nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So if the community's like, oh yeah, we would totally love, because I was talking to one of our patrons not too long ago, and they were like, oh yeah, in my play group we could just play those. That's not even a problem.
Yep.
So let us know if that is something that you guys are interested in. I will always be getting counterfeit and proxy cards and so forth.
Yep.
It's just kind of a little.
That's
hobby of
his
mine.
thing. Yeah.
But at the same time,
And I'm warming up to it in the pod.
Oh.
I'm warming up.
I'm warming up to building an
Actual deck.
deck that I could take someplace and not have someone like, that's not real.
Yep.
See that black core from here.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to be doing giveaway this month, just like we did last month. It is going to be a little close to the chest. We don't want you guys to know what it is yet because we want you to be like, what am I going to get?
What's gonna happen?
Yep. We will announce it. Don't worry. We'll announce it the day of the giveaway, I think.
Yep.
But,
I
you
think
know.
it's a fun way to do it.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, that means you don't know, right?
Yeah.
We're going to find something good for you. You're not going to just, like, not have anything.
That
Don't
and
worry.
if you're just hanging in there for that Miku one, it will probably be by the end of the year.
Oh,
for sure.
yeah. 100%. Because I think we want to do, like, a good bundle for that. I don't want to just be like, here's the Miku card.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Maybe
Here's the card.
maybe some special stuff. Maybe we could somehow get autograph stuff or something.
Yeah, we could we gotta get something with some
Oh, yeah.
some signage
Vocaloid
on it.
signatures. Yeah. But yeah, we'll do that and everything. And
Rockin'.
But
Happy Final Fantasy Day, everybody.
Happy Final Fantasy Day. Thank you
Woot
guys.
woot.
This was our Final Fantasy. So thank you guys. Sean and Tom from the Hard Part Podcast signing
I don't know
off.
what he meant by that.
It's fine. You don't ever need to know. We will see you all next week.
See you next week. Have a good one.